Good evening, everybody. Whoa, there goes my voice already. Good evening. Good to have you with us. Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talks, college football huddle. We'll be transitioning into some basketball, maybe even tonight as we go along. We're right here on the McGrath Podcast Network, MPN, if you will. We welcome everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, any place you might be watching. We thank all our groups. You see them scrolling, some of our favorites. At the bottom, there's dozens and dozens of you guys out there who promote the shows, and we get tons of views from you guys, and we are so appreciative. And I apologize for my voice tonight, but we thank John Gonzalez from the Sport Authorities, Greg Rawlings from America's Pastime, Flo and Can from Bottom Line Sports. Who else? Let's Talk Sports. Ken Krause from Golf Buds, Sports of All Sorts. And a quick shout out to Ralph Williams over there at RW Media. Check out Ralph's stuff. Does a great job at Ocean City, Maryland, Pittsburgh Focus. He's be happy this week with Mike Tomlin fired. Just catch him and Smoking Jim Frazier specifically on the Sports Corner on Tuesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Guys, wow. We were here last week. We had semifinal games to look at, and I was excited about the Miami Ole Miss game. We ended up with a classic. The Indiana-Oregon game turned into a blowout. I haven't been on the air since Friday morning. Lost my voice. I was actually not feeling well. I had a bit of a flu, a viral bug, as it turns out. But then Friday, I lost my voice totally. I had no voice at all till Monday-ish. Started to come back. We're feeling really good today. Now it's starting to get a little raspy again. I will be on the Prim and Proper show, which you saw in the opening credits with Sonia at 9 o'clock. Hopefully I get a little voice left for that show. So I may get through about 8 o'clock or a little after tonight, depending on your input and where we're going, to try to save my voice and try to revitalize it a little bit for that next hour. We'll see how that goes. But we got a lot to talk about. We got the semifinal games we can talk about. We got the final, obviously, coming up where Indiana is a prohibitive favorite against Miami. But I could make a provocative argument that there's a path for victory for the Hurricanes. We can talk about the transfer portal. Oh, actually, affecting the transfer portal, Dante Moore decides to stay with Oregon and not enter the draft and likely get picked third by the Jets. Or second by the Jets, whatever it would have been. Costly decision, but maybe the right thing to do. Get yourself more ready to play at the next level. And Dylan Raiola had already transferred to Oregon, which makes it for an interesting situation there. Sam Levitt has gone to LSU. Chambliss has appealed the decision to negate his chance at another year of eligibility, but he's fighting that ruling. If he stays, he will be staying at Ole Miss. So there's that to talk about. Coaches, I don't know what I wrote down here. Something about Dan Lanning. Hall of Fame class was announced. Some great players. Dominican Sue from Nebraska. Mark Ingram from Alabama. Aaron Donald from Pittsburgh, among others. Marvin Harrison from Syracuse. We can talk about some of those selections and what you think about that. I'll run those down for you tonight as well. And then maybe we'll get into some college basketball. Kansas rolls last night over previously undefeated number 2 Iowa State. Only been as high as number 2 once before. That was last year. They lose big time last night. I watched that game and it was a blowout. There's some surprises in the top 25. Is Michigan for real? They get beat by Wisconsin just the other night and fall out of that number 2 spot themselves. We're number 1 for a bit. And they almost lost to Penn State the game before that. Who are the best of the mid-majors? Best conferences. We can talk about anything you want because it's your show. Who's with us tonight? JB, how are you, my friend? Good to have you with us. Check out JB and the Back It Up Binge podcast. JB did some great interviews over there. I'd like to borrow somebody's voice. Hello, Danny. Good to have Danny Fuller with us out in California. How are Bruins doing in college basketball? Big Ten. Duh. I'm going to look for the Pac-12. Doesn't exist, Keith. UCLA and your favorite coach, Mitch Cronin. Where are they hovering at? How come I can't find them? I see. You got to know how to spell. 3-2 in the conference, 11-5 overall. Hello, Brian. How are you? Yeah, that's no problem. Don't worry about it, Brian. We do plenty of promotion for my show, and I do appreciate it. Check out all the shows that you saw in the promo leading into this show. Check all those shows out on the McGrath Podcast Network. A lot of good stuff there, including I'll be on with Sonia tonight on Prim and Proper Sports tonight. Hello, Rick. How are you? Michael Gott's with us from the UK. He's getting late over there, Michael. Midnight. Get to bed, my friend. UCLA's women's team is number 3. That's good. Women's sports count. It's not like we don't talk about it here. You know? So what are your thoughts, guys? Semifinal wrap-up. Finals outlook. Miami and Ole Miss was a classic game. 4 lead changes in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Carson Beck earning his $4 million as far as I'm concerned in this game. Had some big runs in this game, some big throws in this game. Made a mistake here or there. Miami penalized 7 times after playing a really clean game as they needed to against Ohio State. I felt like that let Ole Miss hang around in this game. Ole Miss, very talented. Chambliss, very good. Jack Hirsch, not worthy of 3rd pick in the draft. Sorry. He's a 2nd or 3rd round pick if he has to go the direction of the draft. But Ole Miss held up well through all that, distractions that they had. I apologize for my voice again, guys. Hope it doesn't sound as bad on your end as it sounds on mine. But I think the coaching staff at Miami has stepped up the last 2 games. Huge. I've been very critical of Mario Cristobal and his coaching staff much of this year. If you followed me, you know. Talented as any team in the country, they don't always bring it to the field. They brought it to the field the last 2 weeks. Overcame some mistakes last week. Against better or equal competition, which they played, Texas A&M, Ohio State, Ole Miss. I know Indiana is really good. I'm going to give Indiana all kinds of props. They absolutely manhandled Oregon. And if you're an Oregon booster, if you're out there, Paul, I like Dan Lanning. But his last 2 playoff games, he lost 42-21, was down 34-8 at half to Ohio State. He lost 56-22, was down, I can't read my writing, 32-7, 36-7, 37, whatever it is. Anyway, he's down huge at the half. Both, out of both games at halftime. That can't happen. That's too talented a team for that to happen. Now, Indiana's really good. That Ohio State game was really good. You can't get to this point in the season and be that unprepared for what's going to get thrown at you. Which leads me to Miami. Hello, AC. How are you? Indiana and Miami's gotten better every week since 4 or 5 games, but Indiana's primed to win it all, no doubt. And that's a reasonable take. Miami, and when we talk about momentum a lot, right, Danny? Kiddingly, but seriously, momentum is a real thing. Indiana's had it the entire season. And it seems to be coming to a crescendo. And Miami does have a path here. I'm not going to be like other people. I'm not going to tell you they're being disrespected because of the point spread. I don't care about point spreads. Point spreads are there for bettors and for bookies and sports books to get as much action on both sides of the bet as they can. That's all it means. I will tell you this. Indiana is a better all-around team. Coaching, offense, defense, special teams. Talent-wise, Miami can play with Indiana. But if they don't play smart, this game's over. Can't have 7 penalties for 120 yards, whatever it had the other night. Carson Beck has got to play perfect. And they've got to rush the passer and run the football. Keep Mendoza off the field. And when he's on the field, you got to find a way to get him off his spot in the pocket, but not let him escape that pocket. The Miami pass rush wasn't as effective against Ole Miss as it was against Ohio State. Indiana's got a really good defense. Carson Beck in that running game. Here's the thing. If they rely on Carson Beck to win this game, they're going to lose. If they can run the football and control the clock, they had a huge time of possession advantage against Ole Miss. They did against Ohio State. They've got to keep that offense off the field. Move the chains, running the football, the little bubble screens to Tony, who's one of the most exciting players, the most exciting freshman in the country. He's got a great future ahead of him. Hopefully it's at Miami. You got to control that football and keep Mendoza off the field. And when he's there, you've got to make your presence known, Ruben Bain. Maricore. Don't disappear like you did against Ole Miss for too many times. Pressure him, but keep him in that pocket. Hello, John. How are you? Good Miami Hurricane backer, John Gonzalez from the Sports Authorities. The number one group out there. John Gonzalez is the best admin you will find. So if you haven't joined them yet, make sure you have. And a lot of you guys already have. Thank you for popping in today, John. I was just spelling out my path to victory for the Hurricanes. The path is not very wide. This is if Indiana were to win this game handily, this is a great football team. They're one of the great stories in college football history. This is one of the great stories in college football history. And what's really funny to me is if it wasn't for the Indiana Hoosiers, Miami would be a tremendous story as they've fallen off the map the last 20 plus years. And they're back with a chance of winning national championship. I do have a futures bet on Miami. Couple of times at plus 2,200. I'm not betting. I'm not laying it off AC. Not doing it. Not 7,000 where I should have. I think the narrative that the SEC is head and shoulders above everyone is over. That's agreed. Third straight year, no teams in the national championship game. Time to spread the love to other conferences. Listen, Miami's done wonders to help ACC, who's, they're the narrative for the ACC was this was not a conference even on a par with the Big 12, much less the Big 10 or the ACC or the SEC. The SEC backers are going to say, oh, we beat each other up all year long. Where? Georgia wasn't as good as I thought they were. They would have beat Ole Miss. Alabama didn't belong in this playoff at all. So I think you're absolutely on target there, AC. Can you be a myth and a legend at the same time? I always wondered about that. John is the man, though. I don't think it's a miracle, John. I said 82. Is it 84? I was talking about 82 earlier. When did they do that? I said this for a time. They were, by the way, just to set the stage what John's talking about here, 1980. Now I want to know the year. Because I'm going to give you a little bit of a narrative here about somebody I think gets overlooked in history. There we go. I'll tell you in just a second. Because I want to look up something. I want to know what year this was, John. How come I can't find... Really? All I want is... Never mind. I want to say 82. You could be right. In any event, Howard Schnellenberger gets very little credit for the creation of the Miami dynasty, 20-year dynasty. We talk about Jimmy Johnson. We talk about Dennis Erickson continuing it. After that, there were guys. Larry Coker at the end. Without Howard Schnellenberger, there is no dynasty in Miami. That game that John's referring to was at the Orange Bowl, Nebraska, Irving, Fryer, Turner, Gill, 14.5-point favorites. Miami's number 4, Nebraska's number 1. Miami controlled a lot of that game. Nebraska came back at the end, and God bless Tom Osborne. All he needs is a tie. He probably wins a national championship. But he doesn't go for the tie. He goes for the win. Because somebody should win. He shouldn't win the national championship on a tie. He goes for 2. Miami holds him. A dynasty is born. Howard Schnellenberger leaves. Jimmy Johnson comes in. I feel like I'm right on the years, but I can't find what I want to find here real quick. So, John, I agree. And I'm trying to channel that. And it does kind of remind me of that. And remember, Miami plays better against better competition. They beat Notre Dame when Notre Dame was 2nd or 3rd in the country. They beat Ohio State when they were 2nd in the country. They beat Texas A&M, who was 2 in the country at one point. They beat Ole Miss, who was in the top 5 at one point. They ran into some, not bad luck, their own bad play against Louisville and SMU, which cost them a chance to win the ACC championship. Beat themselves. But they have talent. They got as much talent as Indiana, I'm telling you. They just got to bring it to the field, which hasn't happened every Saturday. Or in this case, Monday. Before they win, I don't think he even needs a win. If Miami wins, it's still the Big Ten as past the SEC. If you look at all the conversation now, previously when it came to the playoff, the Big Ten had to really defer to the SEC and what it was going to look like. Big Ten seems to be taking much more of a front seat in the conversations about what this playoff will look like in the future. Next year, I still think it'll be 12 teams, but you're going to see more teams after. Thankfully, there's very little consensus or approval for the Big Ten's proposal that it be, I think it was 16 teams, 4, 2, 4 for the Big Ten, 4 for the SEC, 2 for the Big 12, 2 for the ACC, and 1 for the Group of 5. And then the rest would be at large. We don't need to have 4th place teams with automatic bids to the NCAA football tournament. So anyway, Danny, I think they're already there. Hello, Chris F. Grave. I wish I could borrow one of Chris's voices tonight. I'm battling through it, and I will try to get through this show. And I will be on with Sonia at 9. So happily heavenly birthday to Vincent Vincent Jackson, not Bo Vincent Jackson. Vince would have been 43. Product of Colorado North. 84. Thank you. Danny, John, I can't believe I doubted you, my friend. I don't know, I have 82 in my head with Miami. I don't know why. And Howard Schnellenberger left that team right afterwards. I guarantee you, Howard Schnellenberger, to his dying day, wished he didn't leave because he left for the USFL. Coached 2 teams there. Actually, he was employed by 2 teams. I think he only coached one of them. One of the bigger mistakes made by a college football coach ever. So anyway, about the game, John, I was saying, yeah, you could call it a miracle. I don't know if it's a miracle, but again, the path to victory isn't, drive a tractor trailer through it. It's drive a Volkswagen through it. Maybe a Harley. It's funny. These years, Lou Saban was a coach before Schnellenberger. He coached Jim Kelly, I believe, at the University of Miami. Coached, I believe he coached Chuck Foreman at the University of Miami. 2 great future NFL stars. By the way, Chuck Foreman should be in the Hall of Fame. Just saying. We do have the College Football Hall of Famers we can talk about a little bit too. Let me tell you who got in here. ACC anyway says, I think 12-team playoff will be fine as long as the SEC doesn't get 5 or 6 spots. That's the problem. And they're going to get less, but you want to see 5 or 6 Big Ten teams? Don't just leave the Big Ten out. I don't think any of these conferences, I want to see the 6th place team play. I don't even know if I want the 4th. Again, with the Big Ten's proposal, 4-4-2-2-1, I mean, some years you could live with that because you could have a 4th team that is really, really good. But if you give them automatic bids, you are guaranteeing teams get in that don't deserve to be in. Right? I think we'll see one more, actually. Danny, I'm not sure. That's just a gut feeling. I think we'll see one more with 12 with some adjustments probably. My guess is the group of 5 will have to be in the top 12 to get in. And I think whatever it goes to, the group of 5, group of 6 next year with the Pac-12 coming back, will have to most likely be in the top 12, 14, or 16, whatever number there is. But you could be right. I have nothing other in my gut to say I think it'll be 12 next year. I don't even know where we should be. Again, part of me says go to 14, go to 16. Go to 16, let all the conference champions in. I still got 11. I still got 5 at-larges. And if the SEC and the Big Ten warrant those 5 at-larges, God bless them. You can have them. And if you go to 24, well, then I goddamn sure want all conference winners in because I'd just soon give James Madison a shot as I would the 6th place team in the SEC. I can't believe anybody's going to have a stomach for that. Well, some years they can have less some years, but never more. I'm fine with that. Just don't guarantee him 4, right? Which I think is what you mean. I don't know. I don't know where his committee's heading. I really don't. We're fortunate. We've gotten a really good playoff, I think. I mean, other than Indiana, Oregon, I guess all the Indiana games. We've had really good games, pretty much. It's been an exciting playoff. I think Monday night will be a close game. I think Miami's only going to win an ugly game, though. And it's worth $4,400. Chuck Fordham belongs in the Hall of Fame. Miami had a few good ones. George Meyer, Ted Hendricks, I forget. O.J. Anderson, great player. Jim Kelly, we talked about. All good players. And those guys all played before Miami was on the map. I mean, people forget. 1984, Miami was still an independent. And before Hal Schnellenberger got there, Lou Saban was a good coach, but Miami was nowhere. You know, we talk about blue bloods, right? The teams that have been great for, you know, back to the 30s and 40s. You know, Miami doesn't have the football history in Notre Dame or Michigan, or Ohio State, Oklahoma, Alabama. But for 20 years, they were the benchmark. Then they fell into mediocrity pretty much for the next 20 plus years. But for Indiana's story, this would be the story. So, great fun. You know, speaking of some great college players, let's take a quick look, as I said, at the excuse me. I wanted to look quickly at the Hall of Fame inductees. Aaron Donald from Pittsburgh, Dominican Sue from Nebraska, great players. Dominican Sue gets a bad rap because of his style of play, if you will. Overshadows what a great player he was. Aaron Donald doesn't need any introduction. He went to Pittsburgh, of course. Also in this class where where's the rest of these guys? We got Jerry Azuma from New Hampshire, linebacker George Cumby of Oklahoma, linebacker James Laurinaitis, sounds like me tonight, of Ohio State, great player, wide receiver Peter Warwick of Florida State, Garrison Hurst from Georgia, defensive back Chris Hudson from Colorado, Laurinaitis we mentioned, Kansas cornerback Terrence Newman, Penn State running back Kajana Carter, great college player. Texas Arlington offensive tackle Bruce Colley. Syracuse kick returner and wide receiver Marvin Harrison Sr. was a great college player at Syracuse. Overlooked up here in the Northeast. Washington Center Olaine Kreutz. Northern Illinois quarterback Jordan Lynch. Virginia wide receiver Herman Moore, another underrated player. Played his entire NFL career with the Lions. Army offensive guard Bob Novogratz and Utah safety Eric Weddle were the rest of the coaches. Inducted this year, the late Ken Sparks of Carson Newman and the late Jim Margaff of John Hopkins, in addition to TCU's Gary Patterson and Chris Peterson of Boise State and Washington. All in all, I'd say a pretty darn good class of players and inducted into this year's College Football Hall of Fame, which is there a December 8th, they'll be inducted into the National Football Foundation Annual Awards dinner in Vegas. So congratulations to those players, all great players. I don't have a player, some of them I'm not all that familiar with. Some I am very familiar with. I don't have an argument against any of these tremendous players. remember when we have these conversations about great college players, forget about their pro career. It's irrelevant. Only matters what they did in college. Allen. James Laurinaitis. Every time I see it, I see laryngitis, as you can understand. Son of Road Warrior Animal for the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame's out there. No shit. That's a Chris F. Grave find right there. That's a little nugget that Chris would normally come up with. Great job, Alan. Great players, right? I believe they're all well deserving. Marvin Harrison, great player at Syracuse, man. Saw him play many times. What else we got to talk about on college today? Dante Moore staying at Oregon. This is a Jet thing. In my mind, it has to be a Jet thing, right? I mean, what other reason do you have to stay? Get a little more seasoning, stay away from the Jets. I've said I thought that he's got a bigger upside, a higher ceiling than Mendoza. Now we're not going to find out for another year, at least as they start their careers. Mendoza will certainly be the number one pick in the draft. And Moore would have gone number 2 or 3 to the Jets. And I'm sure that's why he's not coming out. And no, if Trinidad Chambliss ends up in the draft, he's not going through to the 3 to the draft. The Jets, Jack. Not happening. If the Jets are smart, they'll take Bain. They won't take Simpson. Simpson's not going in the first round. I don't think. Jen, I don't know if you're serious. I don't see any funny smiley face. You want the Jets to take Ty Simpson at 3? Seriously? Ugh. I can't see him going. Let me see. Hold on. All right, the highest I see him ranked is 34 by PFF. That's second round. That's the top of the second round. Now, you didn't say you wanted to take him with a 3rd pick, John. Early second, as I said. I think the highest I've seen him ranked is 34th. Trinidad Chambliss, just so you know, Jack, 66. That's 3rd round. Well, yeah, top of the 3rd round. Early in the 3rd round. Chambliss might be a good player. What he's got, 12 starts at Division I of 12 football. Or, sorry, 14 starts, I guess. No, 13 starts, whatever it is. It's not enough football to know whether this kid is any good. I don't know. 3rd round seems about right. Tremendous upside. But you're going to take a. Where's their 2nd pick in the 1st round, John? I mean, this could be a late 1st round pick. Maybe they trade back in like the Giants did and took Jackson Dart. He's a tough kid. 6'2". I don't know. I just don't know. I have a hard time getting my head around that. As a Patriot fan, I probably like it. Now, to be fair, I wasn't very high on Ty Simpson before this season started, so I totally missed the ball. I totally dropped the ball on Ty Simpson in his senior year at Alabama. So maybe I'll be wrong with him on the next level too. But not with that third pick. I had no idea. I really don't have an idea right now, AC. Let me just kind of look down that low. I want to look at guys that are there. What I'd like to see him do is go offensive line again. Or wide receiver. So at 32, and I did get to number 32 when they win the Super Bowl. Thank you for that nod. Ty Simpson will be there. Kidding. You know, I haven't spent a lot of time looking. Let me look at. I want to look at tackles. If Magawa from tackle from Miami falls that far, I don't think he will, but I would consider him with the Patriots. I like Monroe Freeling a lot from Georgia when we're talking about tackles. If they want to go with the wide receiver, which they don't tend to do, I got to look at who might be available again that late. I don't really like the kids that are there at wide receivers. I would see them going offensive line again this year, number one. I do think they'll be drafting 32. Thank you. I picked up on that question. I don't disagree. They need a quarterback, John. And if you're talking about taking Ty Simpson in the second round, if they have a second round pick, I'm okay with that. But I don't think Ty Simpson's really the quarterback of the future. I don't think there's a quarterback of the future in this draft other than Mendoza, who I'm starting to rethink. I was giving him grief as well. I didn't think there was a franchise-altering quarterback in this draft. Maybe Mendoza. I started to rethink that. But, I mean, Simpson's the second-ranked quarterback. Chambliss is third. Nussmeier, Mateer, Beck, Klubnik, none of these guys. So if you feel you've got to draft a quarterback, then by all means draft Ty Simpson because he's the best of a very, very weak lot. I would wait till next year when the quarterback pickings are probably going to be better, Arch Manning. And find a stopgap for this year. You're not making a playoffs next year with Ty Simpson, are you? Then run it back with somebody else. Go ruin Mac Jones's career. Sign him. Well, geez, yeah, I agree. This should have been a great class, Alan. But you actually got to perform for it to be a great class. I mean, even when we get to drafts, we thought that 5 years ago, what was it? When Zach Wilson and Trey Lance and Mac Jones and Justin Fields, we thought that was a great draft. Who's any good out of that draft? This is why you don't take quarterbacks in the first round. The percentages say it doesn't work. I'm just saying, teams are going to continue to take guys early. And I get it. But you find far more Zach Wilsons and Mac Jones than you do Drake Mays and Caleb Williams. Let's look at Simpson at the combine. I'm sure he'll impress the Jets. So well done, Miami. Got him right here, John. There he is. Joe Willie. Joe Willie sits right here next to me, day in and day out. Love that guy. Richard Todd was an underrated quarterback. Played for some bad teams on the Jets. Got him to a championship game. A little better coaching, Richard Todd would have had, and probably overall organization help. Richard Todd would have been a really good quarterback. Had him on the show one day. Great interview with him. He'll need the combine to get himself drafted in the first round. He'll need to impress. And a lot of these guys won't show up. You're not going to see Fournette. You're not going to see Mendoza at the combine. And let me see him play in the college all-star game. So I want to see him go to the Senior Bowl and play. That's where you go. That's the best college all-star game there is, because that one's coached by pro staffs. That's where teams really get a good look at guys. Senior Bowl week is a really important week. I don't know whether they've chosen guys or invited guys yet or not. Ty Simpson, I would guess, would be a candidate for that, and I hope he goes there. Alan, great call. I mean, this again backs up what I say. Cam Ward still has a lot of problems he had in college that you can't get away with in the pros. Holds the ball too long. Tries to force the ball in places. He gets happy feet. When I saw the Titans play this year, early and late, I saw the same player without the same results. He was a great college quarterback, Cam Ward. By the way, Tubi's got a really good 2 or 3 episode documentary, if you will, on Cam Ward called Zero Star, I think, because he was a 0-star recruit out of high school. It's really kind of interesting if you want to spend an hour and a half, couple hours seeing the rise of Cam Ward. It's really interesting stuff. Tubi's where I found it. I don't know where else you can find him. And Cam Ward might become a quarterback. I don't know. Again, if you don't pick the right coaches, sometimes the quarterbacks suffer. We've seen a lot of guys whose careers we don't know whatever would have happened because they were either asked to play too soon, they were asked to do too much, they were put in the wrong type of system. Senior Bowls are really, I think, the most important. And I don't even know which college all-star games they still have. I think they play the Shrine game still, East-West Shrine game. Senior Bowl is the one that's really important for the next step. Coaches are really looking and evaluating performances and practices during the Senior Bowl week. And that's where you want to be, for sure. Good call, John. But again, to go back to Alan's point, this is why I don't take quarterbacks early. There's no guarantee. There are 4 more washouts than there are hits. When 8% of the quarterbacks taken in the first round since 1967 have won a Super Bowl, that tells me the odds of me striking gold are not good. It's better than hitting the lottery, but I saw that. I mean, Dylan, and talking about Dante Moore again, staying, I'm sure he's going to have lots of insurance coverage against injury. It's a little weird, though. You want to avoid the Jets apparently at all time, a la Peyton Manning years ago. Stay in school another year and forfeit $50 or $60 million on a rookie contract. Now he'll make plenty. He'll probably make, I think it was $4 million, $5 million he might get to that point in NIL. I'm sure there'll be insurance policies to protect his health, but that doesn't protect your quality of play. But I think it's still a smart move for him. And Dylan Raiola, I don't know what he'll do now. He says he's going to stay and play behind Dante. time will tell. 2016 class, only one quarterback is either active. Well, again, thank you. 4th round, Dak Prescott. I have this argument with Jack all the time. The 1983 is always regarded as the great year of the quarterback in the draft. You know how many quarterbacks in that first round won Super Bowls? 1. John Elway. Tony Eason, no. Ken O'Brien, no. Blackledge, no. Marino, no. Kelly, no. I feel like I missed another guy. I say Ken O'Brien. They don't win. You're rolling the dice. You need so much more. When you're picking a quarterback that early, the rest of your team needs a lot of help. By the way, of those 8%, a bunch of them won with not the teams they were drafted by. Jim Plunkett, for instance. No, John, I'm not saying he's Peyton Manning. I swear to God. I should have qualified that remark beforehand. I was not saying, in no way or shape or form, am I saying Dante Moore is Peyton Manning. I'm just saying that he avoided the Jets a la Peyton Manning. That's all. The only way they're comparable. It is getting rough, right? I got to go to, I got to do Sonia's show at 9. So we're going to go a few more minutes and then we'll wrap it up. I'll take a little rest, go have some more tea. I have spurts. Right now I sound really good. Then it just goes. Thank you, Chris. Goff is the only other quarterback from the 16 class still active. Oh, wait a minute. What'd you say first? Oh, with his original team. Gotcha. I don't think either one of those guys have won Super Bowls. Again, I know that quarterbacks drafted in the first round win Super Bowls, right? But think about all the guys who didn't win. So unless you got a sure thing, like a Peyton Manning, I get it. You know, but rolling the dice with a Ty Simpson, I don't know. I mean, I wish I could, if I could erase your minds for what you know about guys, and unfortunately I can't do that. So if I say to you, forget about what you know about Zach Wilson in the NFL. If Zach Wilson and Ty Simpson were coming out this year, which one would you say would be the better quarterback? You're probably not going to say Zach Wilson because you can't erase what you've seen. But it would have been Zach Wilson. Mistake. And Arch will be the top pick, and probably there. Look at there. I understand you're going to take him because you're not going to get him later. I get it. And teams do take quarterbacks early because they know they won't get them if they don't. I understand why teams do it. But so I guess it's like the lottery. If you're not in it, you can't win it. Right? And no Super Bowl wins still. Interesting. I mean, I know Mahomes was a first round pick. I get it. You know, and the numbers are skewed a little bit because of guys who won a bunch. Tom Brady wins 7. That obviously skews the number down. It's a good conversation. We'll have it, when we lead up to the draft, because NFL draft is still college conversation to me, right? So still going back to Chris. Do I sound that bad? At times I feel really good. Trent Dilfer was a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Excellent quarterback, wasn't he? He was his first round pick, though. And didn't win with his original team. He's one of the guys that didn't win with his original team. It's an interesting thought. I mean, it's just an interesting it's an interesting dilemma to me, right? So many first round picks are wasted on busts. Quarterbacks and other positions, obviously, not just quarterbacks, but quarterback obviously stands out. Everybody wants a franchise quarterback. And we reach. I mean, think about Peyton Manning. What if the Colts lose the flip? I think it was a coin flip then, right? I'm not mistaken. It was a coin flip. What if the Colts had lost? And they get Ryan Leaf instead of Peyton Manning. Thank you, Alan, for backing up my argument tonight. I really have somebody on my side of this argument. I like anything that says you're right, Keith. You guys want to talk a little college basketball tonight? Let's take a quick look. And we can talk about anything you want. But I thought as we started the transition into college basketball, we take a look at the coaches poll. We can look at the conferences a little bit. This will change a little because Iowa State just got beat last night. UConn with a close win over Seton Hall. But Arizona's 1, Iowa State's 2, and they had all the first place votes. Iowa State got just 1. UConn was 3. Michigan was 4 after losing to Wisconsin early this week. And almost losing to Penn State the game before. Purdue, Duke, Houston, Nebraska, Gonzaga, Vanderbilt round out the top 10. What doesn't belong and why here? Nebraska? Vanderbilt? Interesting. So Iowa State, I guarantee in no time in history have Iowa State, Nebraska, and Vanderbilt been in the top 10 at the same time. I think Vanderbilt might be the top 10 for the first time ever. BYU, Michigan, Illinois, North Carolina, Texas Tech are 11 through 15. Virginia with a nice comeback season. Arkansas as well. Alabama, Florida, and Louisville take us to 20. And Georgia, Clemson, Utah State, probably the best of the group of fives, mid-majors. The Mountain West is borderline mid-major to me in college basketball, but they're almost a major. Tennessee and Seton Hall round up the top 25. Falling out this week was Kansas, who will jump back in next week after a huge victory. Blowing Iowa State right out of the building yesterday. Iowa, SMU, and UCF fall out. So it's been an interesting season so far. We talked about mid-majors. Teams that are really good that aren't in this top 25. St. Louis 15-1 out of the A10. St. Mary's 17-2 out of the West Coast Conference. Akron out of the MAC 13-4. VCU 11-6 at these and 2-2 I think in the A10. All teams to keep an eye on as we start to head into when we get back from vacation in February. We'll be looking at the bubble watch week in and week out. and these teams will merit conversation. You sound like the Keebler elf. Tom Waits. Believe it or not, I sound 1,000 times better than I sounded at any point before today. I thought about doing the show Sunday, and I was like, you're nuts. Anything interesting in conference play? I may get out of here a little bit early so I can go rest my voice and get a little more tea in me before I get with Sonia at 9. That's pretty funny, though, Chris. I'm thinking about having Chris do some intros for my shows. What do you think, Chris? I need your best intro voice to do intros for all the shows. Maybe we do a different voice. No, I want the same voice, I think. For this show, for the MLB update, maybe do a different voice for the Mac and Jack. Or Mac and Jack, there I go. I haven't done that in a while. Mac McGrath, God bless you. The Jack and Keith show. Jack and Keith weekend update. The weekend playbook, sorry. I don't know. We'll have to think about this, Chris. I don't know if I can afford your rates, though, man. So, what else? You know what, guys? I don't know. I think we're going to wind it down here. Who's out here I can say hi to that didn't say anything? Can I see anybody? Scott Mlesky. How you doing, buddy? Ginger, how are you? Wait. I think I'm going to take my scratchy voice, go have a cup of tea, and get ready for the Prim and Proper sports show with Sonia Pearson tonight at 9 o'clock. I'll try to get my voice a little bit better for that. I don't know. I think it's an hour. I don't know. But we'll see what we can do. Guys, I hope when I see you Friday with Jack, I'll be better. If not, I'll just let Jack talk. So you guys have a great night, and I'll see you on the flip side, guys. Bye-bye. Have a good one. Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talks, College Football Huddle.